The other night in Big Bend, I heard a little rustling under the hood, and a mouse or a rat got under my hood and chewed some wires. So right now I'm gonna do a quick repair on that, and I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing. Real world van life, things you have to do on the road. By the way, I'm in this just amazing spot in Arizona. This is in the Coronado National Forest. But what I'm getting ready to do is I'm gonna solder the wires back together. I'm gonna have to put an extension on it and then wire it back together, shrink wrap it, and then I'll put flex loom over the tops of that. So to do this, how do you run your soldering iron in a place like this? Well, luckily my Revel has an inverter, and I can run my little extension cord all the way to my soldering iron. And now I'm under the hood. I've cleaned back a little of this. I started this project and I thought I wasn't gonna film it, and then I was like, you guys probably wanna see this. So here's the mess. I've cut back the sheathing that was the stock sheathing around this wire from the Light Force wiring harness. And a few of these wires got nicked by a little rodent tooth. And so I have just patched those up with electrical tape. And then this wire, which is my signal wire to turn on my daylight running light side of the driving lights, got munched all the way through. So there's some tooth marks here, and then it's cut here, and it goes all the way back up into here. So I have a little bit to work with on this side. It's gonna be a little harder there. But I'm basically gonna cut this part that's abraded out, and then I'm gonna put a new extension piece on here, and then I'll put shrink wrap over it, and it should be good as new. It's starting to get dark here, so I kind of need to hurry, but I'm gonna let you guys see what's going on. Okay, I do travel with wire. I have my wire trimmers, my cutters, I have a soldering iron on board and solder. And I don't know, electrical tape and that kind of stuff. What else am I using? I did go buy some more flex loom. I didn't have that. And so I am gonna take this piece. You can see the little black there is where I've added on shrink wrap that's gonna cover the two joints that I'm getting ready to solder onto the wire that the mouse chewed through. I'm not gonna be able to film the soldering part because I'm gonna need both hands to do it. But basically this wire is gonna go onto this white wire, and they're gonna then connect the wire that got cut. Make sense? All right, I'll be back right with you in just a second. Okay, I had to grab my headlight. It's kind of dark in here. I got it to stick, and now that I've got a rough little tack there, I'm gonna go on and solder it even better. So I just got it started. This is kind of hard to do with one hand holding two wires and a soldering iron. That's kind of a trick. So now that I got a little bit of a bead of solder on the first wire, I just did that on the ground, and I kind of got a bunch of solder on there, and then I heated up the other wire, and then I put them together, and they actually bonded together and stuck. So now I can go and do a better soldering job of really joining the two. Here we go. Crap. Okay, so I got it too hot and they separated. It's exactly what I didn't want to happen. Man, this is like kind of squirrely because I've just got this tiny little wire and I can't really see it. It's pointing like straight at me. The good news is I have quite a bit of solder on both wires, and so I should be able to just heat them up together and they'll Okay, I think I like that. Now I'm gonna just get a little more on here, make a good connection. I can't see a thing. Okay, I think that's good. Can you see that on here? Yep, see it's soldered back together. Giving a little pull test. Seems like a pretty good connection. Now I'm gonna slide this shrink wrap over it, make sure that goes on. This is where butt connectors are really nice, but I don't like butt connectors as my first choice in places where there's going to be possibly moisture and things getting in there. So a solder with a heat shrink over the top is a pretty solid way to do this. I'm going to cut this back just a hair. That shrink wrap is a little long for what I need. Now this one should be easier because it's more out in the open. And I'm going to try to make them about the same length as all this so it meshes up. Give it a little for my trim. Let's do it back over here. I have more room to work. Okay. I'm going to strip these wires back. Looks good. All right, now a little more cruxy soldering. Okay, so kind of like before, I'm just gonna get a little, heat the wire up just a hair, and I'm just gonna try to get some solder on it, just so it's already kind of sticky. There we go. You gotta be careful with this thing. It is really hot. And if you don't believe me, just touch it. Okay, now this is gonna be a little tricky because this wire is gonna be kind of floppy. Like I really need a second person to hold this or a clamp, but I have neither. So I'm gonna try to bend this up so it's in a place where I can maybe get them together. And once again, I'm just trying to kind of tack them together to get them to hold so then I can have an extra hand. But I don't want to get them too hot or I will separate them. There. Right there, that's it. Now, I'm gonna get some more solder on there. You don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it either. So it's a fine line. All right, let's check our handiwork. Let's give them a little pull test. Yeah, not the most beautiful thing, but it is gonna do it. Let's see if we can get this heat shrink over it. Perfect. Oh, look at that. All right. That's looking pretty good. Let me go grab a lighter if I have one. That's the problem of having an all electric induction kitchen, is sometimes I need a lighter for things like this and I don't have one. Let me look. I almost gave up on the lighter, but then in the very bottom of a drawer I found it, and I have a lighter. So we're gonna shrink this back now. Let's see if we can set you guys here. It's looking pretty good. All right, that shrunk back. Now I'm just gonna turn the van on and just double check that I've got a good connection there before I go too much further. It's telling me to place the key in the proper spot, which means you need to lock it and unlock it, and then it will detect the key. Oh, it's saying key not detected. There you go. All right, now I've got my light here on. That means that my light force running lights should be activated. And boom, they are. Awesome, we fixed it. Now I just gotta loom it up and finish the job up and kind of make it pretty. So with loom, let's see here. Here's the old stuff. I'm gonna keep that as much as I can, but I'm gonna get this new loom around as many of these, hopefully all of these wires. So you kind of get your finger in there and get it open and kind of do it like a zipper. Kind of feed the wires in and then it'll close behind them. I don't know if you can see any of this with my elbow here. Okay, it's coming. I'm gonna keep working on it. So I'm gonna call that good. There. Whew. Okay, the loom's on. I'm gonna put a little bit of electrical tape around this loom just to totally seal it up. I'm actually gonna kind of bundle them up with this other loom and make it all one big loom. Okay, there we go. Now I gotta finish this red one up. I'm gonna tuck it in as far as it'll go. And then I'm gonna put another loom on it. Man, Reed at Agile Off-Road had this trick for getting wire in a loom where you kind of bent it and rolled it on with your finger in there. And I don't have it mastered. Okay, I got it all loomed up. Check it out, it's not zip tied in yet. But that is certainly more protected than it used to be. Don't go anywhere without a bag of zip ties. All right, I'm gonna go off of this bundle here that is very well secured. That's a factory bundle. There it is, we're fixed. The lights on. Love the light force. I love them better when they get power and they're working. There is my splice job and loom covering, and I think it's gonna be better than ever. And those dang mice better stay out of my van.
Mice, you better stay out of my van.
Mice, stay out of my van.